The tree's gone up, decorations are up everywhere, and there's a wee nip in the air. Speaking of wee nips, I've got one here too. Why don't you pour yourself one and we'll spend the next half hour together getting all festive. Festive greetings and Yuletide merriment to you all. Oh, you just gotta love it, hey? So are you all ready? Everything done? I know it's going to be a weird one, but we're not going to talk about that. We're going to make it as positive as we can, because Christmas has just, no matter how you're celebrating it, it is just cheering us up, seeing all the decorations up everywhere and the lights. And the lights here too. You gotta love it. I just gotta love those Christmas trees. Let's kick off with what winter knit am I wearing in this episode, and here it is. I'm just gonna do this. Look at that! The Christmas pudding jumper. Isn't it amazing? Absolutely fabulous work by Mandy, one of our knitters. Talked about her many times in the shop. She's knitted me many garments. You saw me in the, the Drangi a couple of episodes ago. This is a special commission. Sadly, it's not for me. This is a special commission that Mandy has knitted for a gentleman that came into the shop. Now, we do commissions. Mandy is such an amazing knitter, and we have Irene too. There are two main knitters for the shop, two very, very experienced knitters, but we do have other knitters as well who knit for people. And this is a special commission. A gentleman came in and said, can someone knit me a classic Christmas sweater? And I went, I'm sure I know someone who could. And Mandy was up for the challenge. So we got out the patterns and the gentleman went and chose this Christmas pudding one. He chose the colours as well. I'd measured the gentleman's arms and chest, and she worked it all out. It's phenomenal how she can do that. But when you've got all that experience, you can. It's just all bubbling away up here. It's done in Charisma double knit. It's a proper wool, 100% wool. It does have a superwash treatment, so you can put it through the wash. And I found it does survive the wash very well on obviously the wool setting. But it's wonderfully warm, and it is just like, it's just brilliant, isn't it? So it just made sense to have this on for our Christmas episode, and for me just to obviously try it out. You know, what do they call it? Quality control before it goes out to the customer tomorrow. He's going to come in and pick it up, and I'm sure he'll be thrilled. I just love the mistletoe because the mistletoe is put on top, so it's kind of like a 3D effect. Fabulous, Mandy, as ever. Well done. If you out there want to commission a special knit, then Mandy or Irene can knit for you. Just get in contact with me at the shop and we can sort it out for you because they are knitting all the time. Mandy and Irene and many of the other ladies who do knit for me at the shop, they are knitting all the time. So if they're not buying the wool themselves, then it's actually even nicer when someone else buys the wool for them and they knit. And they are, as I say, they are so experienced and so clever. So get in contact with me at the shop if you want a commission. Now, talking about Christmas decorations still and the Christmas jumper, I did my Christmas window at the shop this year. Take a look at this. the north wind doth blow here tonight. It's blowing a proper hoolie out there, but it makes me nice and snug and cosy here inside. Now, I knew I wanted to do a display of some sort containing a robin. Sadly, I lost my dad this year to cancer, and his name was Robin. And I just thought, right, I know what I'm going to do for my Christmas window. It's going to have a robin. And thinking of ideas and songs, as I normally do for inspiration, just suddenly occurred to me the idea of the north wind doth blow, and we shall have snow, and what will poor Robin do then, poor thing? And I just thought, right, I'm going to make a robin, and that can sit proud centre stage of my window and bring back happy memories as I think of him. And as many of you will be doing at this time of year, you'll be thinking of your loved ones. So I hope you can make the most of it, whatever you do. But I was really pleased with that window, and the idea of doing an origami robin. Many people said, well, why didn't you not do a knitted one or an amigurumi crochet robin? But there's something quite simplistic about the paper and the card and creating this. And you know, when you're doing windows, you don't necessarily always want to have knitting or fabric in there, because you're trying to promote the shop and you're trying to give ideas. And yes, there is a place for having knitted garments and fabric sewn garments in there, but I just thought there was something quite simple and modern and clean about having that little robin sitting there on perched on the snowy spade stuck in the snow. Now, I've now got that in my head now, the north wind doth blow. I'll be singing that all night. Have you got a favourite hymn or a Christmas tune that you like? I've been on Spotify recently and having loads on the playlist of an evening. And I do like a good old classical version. I've been tinkling on the ivories over the last couple of weeks as well, as you do, playing some Christmas tunes. But there is one tune that just keeps coming back to me, and I don't know whether it's necessarily a Christmas tune, but it's by Rutter. It's The Lord Bless You and Keep You, and it is just something quite beautiful about that. So I've been learning to play that by rote. I can read music, but trying to read music sight read and play at the same time, no. So I'll try and learn by rote. And I want to try and also learn, there is another beautiful piece of music that is in Home Alone, and that's a classical piece, and that is by the composer who, do you know what, I can't even think of his name, does Star Wars. What's his name? It's completely gone from my head. But when I heard that in Home Alone, I was like, brought a tear to my eye. I thought I wanted to play that. Never even thought it was him, and his name still escapes me as I talk to you. I'm sure you'll be able to tell me in the comments below, and I'll be like, ah, yes, or it'll come to me in half an hour. Oh my word. Christmas decorations time. Can't believe where the time's gone. It literally just feels like a couple of weeks ago we were packing them up, and then obviously that happened, but let's get some more. So cast your memory back a couple of vlogs. It was the first of season 2 dark mode. I was making a quilt. Well, I finally finished it. You saw me making the front and the borders. It was done with a 5-inch square charm pack. Well, here it is. It's there and it's got the border on, but look at the back. It's got beautiful Shannon Fabrics cuddle fabric, and it's so scrummy. I wanted to do something different. Rather than the usual wadding, where you put your wadding in and then you put your backing in and then the binding, I wanted something quicker. We have lots of people coming into the shop wanting to make quilts for their first ever grandchild, and it's like, well, how can we help the customers to make these presents, or and for some of them it's their first time quilting too. How can we make it easier for them? Teaching them to sew all the 5-inch squares together is easy and put the border on, but quilting it and making it into a sandwich and then quilting over it is actually kind of another level. And when you're new to patchwork and quilting, that's kind of a big step to then make. So I thought, and I've seen some of these ideas about, I thought I will just miss out the wadding altogether and then put it on the back with the cuddle. So you have the front facing each other, or the back facing each other, sew all the way around, leave a little hole, and then the term is called bagging out. And then you have your quilt or a blanket on the front, and then you've also, because of that cuddle, you've got your little comforter, which I will hold my hand up. I had a comforter when I was little. Did you have one? There was something quite unique about having a little blankie, isn't it? Who's the character off Snoopy that has the little comforter? TJ, you'll be able to tell me that in the comments below, because I know you're a huge Snoopy fan. I'm sure it's from Snoopy, isn't it? The character that had he always seemed to be the one at the back, I'm sure. But it's almost like a dual role. Your quilt, blanket, picnic blanket, cot blanket, the warmth of the cuddle on the back too against the skin, but also then as a comforter too. So really pleased with that, and we'll have that in the shop as kits in the coming months when new fabric collections come in. So I'll order charm packs, and I'll order lots of the cuddle fleece, different colours too, and so you go at making the quilts that way rather than having to faff around with wadding and then the backing and then the binding and so forth. So really pleased with that. Now, speaking of finished makes, that's my finished make. Why don't you pour yourself another nip? I've got my little sherry here. It's got to be sherry at Christmas time, isn't it? Good old classic Croft. I know some of you are probably going, oh my God. Oh dear, it just brings back memories of my grandfolks. Well, my nan, really. My granddad always used to have a whiskey. So sit back and relax and take a look at everyone else's makes and see if you can spot your own if you've sent one in the gallery. As always, some phenomenal makes there. You lot never cease to amaze me with what you create. Thank you for taking the time to send me the pictures or to hashtag the Woolpatch when you do post your pictures on social media. It's really great. I really appreciate that. And I still want them. So as you carry on making over Christmas, still keep sending your pictures to me. You can do it old school by email, info@thewoolpatch.com, or if you post on social media, I would love you to use the hashtag the Woolpatch. Just pop it on the end of your post and I follow that, and that will notify me, and then I can take your pictures and add them to the gallery, so it saves you doing any work at all. Because it is just wonderful seeing what you all do and sharing what everyone is creating and seeing all the different talents out there. Now, actually, that talking about making things just leads me nicely on to our next topic. If I can, I would just like to take 5 minutes to talk to you about YouTube. So, YouTube, I have just, in the last couple of weeks actually, knocked over to 1,000 subscribers. Woohoo! So thank you very much for subscribing. If you're still watching, I hope you're enjoying it. I do appreciate it. Now, the reason why the 1,000 subscribers is such a big thing is because from 1,000 subscribers, the YouTuber, which in this case is me, can monetize the channel. Now, what that means is the ads that you see, some of that money from now on will go to me or the shop, and that in turn is good revenue to help the shop. I can grow the shop, I can develop the business, and actually it's a great form of revenue. So that's why the 1,000 subscribers is really important. And that's why also you will always hear on YouTube the YouTuber saying, if you like this video, please click the like button and please click the red subscribe button. Because at first when they kept saying that, I thought, wait, what's so important about me hitting the subscribe button? Yes, if I hit the subscribe button, I get notifications on when the next video is out. But I'm only here for some of them to watch a tutorial on a specific thing. I don't want to see any more from that person. So I couldn't understand why they kept saying on every video, if you like this video, press like or hit the subscribe button. Now I know, because the YouTuber is trying to get to 1,000 or more, and then they can monetize the channel. Now just think of those channels that have 100,000 subscribers or 1 million subscribers. Just think how much money they're getting from the ad revenue alone. So much so that some of these people can use YouTube as a full-time career. Now, I'm not wanting to do that, but to use YouTube to help revenue for the shop, so I can buy more stock, so I can get a bigger shop, would be wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. So, just to make you aware, so from now on, the ads that you see, we get a little bit of revenue. Now, what I want to also say to you is, how would you feel about one ad placed in mid-show? I was thinking a bit like commercial telly, like you're watching Who Wants to Be a Millionaire or Deal or No Deal, when Noel would say, come back after the break. You're like, oh my God, just open the box. So I thought maybe I could place a specific ad just before, say, like the gallery or a specific section. Now, I know for some of you it will be really irritating, but what would it be for one ad? And that's what I was thinking to myself. When I do watch people, now I know that they get revenue from it. I sometimes think, well, that's one ad. I can put up with one ad for that YouTuber because I know it's helping them develop the channel, which I have subscribed to and I love. So to see more content from that YouTuber is worth watching that. Now, I know when I watch some tutorials, there are a lot of ads. You can see like 7 or 8 little yellow things at the bottom and you're thinking, whew. Now, sometimes granted, they don't always play. Google do choose, or YouTube does choose when to show the ad. Now, I have been playing around with it, so if my last video you saw 7, which I think Jen and Ting said, Stuart, we watched your last video, there were 7 ads. I didn't choose that. I don't know why it did that. I'm still playing around with it. So I think I'm going to tell it to choose to play one ad. So how do you feel about that? Just let us know in the comments. Knowing now what I've told you, that it's that revenue from now on will help to develop the shop. I think that's important for you to know that, because I think that might make a difference. You never know in a year's time what might happen to the channel and how that develops the shop and grows the shop. One thing I do want to say, because some of my audience don't fully understand since coming to YouTube, is that subscribe button doesn't cost you any money. It's just literally like a monthly subscription fabric box. Now I know they do cost, but it's the idea that you're subscribing to something so you get a notification. So when you click that subscribe, you get a notification when I release a video. So that's kind of nice. So you can keep up to date with everything that goes on. But as I say, the more subscribers I get, then the more revenue you get. Because remember, YouTube makes its money from ads. The longer you stay on the platform, the more ads you see, the more ad money Google gets. And in return, some of that money goes to the creators. I think it's 55% to Google and 45% to the creator. And they have also changed their ad policy as well. You may be seeing loads more ads with YouTube. I know I am, and it's driving me nuts. But as I say, for specific YouTubers, I can kind of put up with that, because if it helps them to create more content, brilliant. So I just wanted to make you aware. I hope you can put up with maybe an ad at the beginning which is skippable, and one ad dotted discreetly somewhere where I perhaps say here's an ad. So then, because there's nothing worse than an ad cutting halfway through your content. So if I discreetly place it like deal or no deal, I think that might be doable. Knowing, if you know that it's going to help the shop, I would really appreciate that. Phew! Oh, I've been talking way too much there, but I wanted you to be aware of that. But anyway, enough of me talking. Let's take a look at some fabulous pom-poms. Aren't they incredible? I found about, so this is Lovafur, Austrian company, by two people, and one of them is Anita, who I've been chatting away with, and I think I found them literally by accident from browsing the internet, as you do. I was utterly amazed. And I thought, oh, I've got to have some of these, so I inquired, and they sent me a chart, and I chose, and they have just come through, and they are just, I mean, they are huge. They are around, I think they're about 20, what's that? Yes, 20 centimetres or so. I mean, they are substantial pom-poms. I've got some, they come in different types. Fox, raccoon, or like a normal. So it's like their tails. Now, let me make this quite clear. No animal has been harmed in these pom-poms. They're completely man-made. Acrylic, polyester. And so it's perfect for if you're vegan as well. But they've just used the idea of the concept of the fox tail or the raccoon. So that's a raccoon one. So you can see the tips of that. So that's a beautiful spearmint colour with tiny little black tips. And that's, oh, look at that. That's a fox one that literally is just fluffy. Doesn't have anything on the tips, like a fox brush. But look at this one here, which you would have seen in the footage earlier. This is Harlequin. Oh, it is just phenomenal. And they have ribbon, so you can attach it to your beanie. And it makes it then interchangeable if you fancy a change, because some of these can go with a multitude of colours of beanie, especially if you've got a solid colour beanie. So you can change according to your mood, or you can just take it off if you want to wash your beanie. I never wash my beanies, but then I'm not wearing them all the time. So it just makes it really versatile. And as I say, they are a small independent business in Austria, and they make them all themselves. Now, yes, that does make them expensive. And I have this chat with my customers a lot, because I do have many customers who appreciate handmade and understand that that then puts a price on things, because you are paying for expertise, you're paying for someone's time to make them. They're not a couple of quid like some Pompoms are from a high street commercial shop, because they can keep the prices low because they're made in a factory, it's commercial, and they are just bang, 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 bang. Kind of the problem that we're in at the moment, aren't we, with fast fashion, with Primark, where you can go and get a finished garment, a made garment for £5. It is buying, isn't it? So it does make these Pompoms quite expensive. So they do retail at 22 quid. But as I say, there is something, when you think about it, that someone has made these by hand, and each one therefore is unique. Obviously they are dyed, so the spearmints will all look the same, but they are handmade. They are put together by these two people in Austria, and there is something unique about that, and I can myself want to pay for that, and they're not going to be everywhere, so there is something, and they are luxurious, hence I put that in the title, luxurious Pompoms. But they are fabulous. So I've got quite a few colours. Trial them out. I will see what it's like. If I'm still talking about them next year, you'll know that they haven't sold very well, and they may be too expensive. I understand we all have different price points of what we can afford. So many of you might be looking at that going, but then some of you might think, well, actually, if I do that as a gift, if I buy a pom-pom and a ball of, say, Rowan big wool and knit a beanie, a ball of Rowan big wool is £10-11, 20, that's 30 quid for a gift. You could knit the beanie, put the pom-pom on top, wonderful gift. Now that is priceless, and I also think for 30 quid that's a phenomenal gift, and a reasonable price, so wonderful there. So they're Pompoms. Take a look on the website, you can buy them. I have seen them in a couple of other yarn shops, but there aren't many around, so we'll see how it goes, but it's been wonderful to stock them. I'm amazed with them, and I'm going to put one on my big wool beanie that I knitted, that I've told you about in a previous episode by Michael Shawn. The Thunderhead beanie is a great one to knit, and I think that will look lovely on there. So Lovafur luxurious Pompoms, go check them out. Boy, half an hour gone already, and I'm still lovely snug and warm in my Christmas Pud jumper, but it means that we've got to go, so I'm going to pour myself another wee nip. I hope you will do too. All the best for this time, however you're celebrating it, if you're even celebrating it. I hope you keep well and safe. Here's to a phenomenal year in so many ways. We'll look forward to what happens in 2021. Regardless, I'm still going to be there in the potting shed, giving you the latest updates on the shop, fabric, and the world of wool too. I hope you'll come back and join me. Lots of good things, exciting things planned for 2021. Keep us all going through these difficult times. So all that's left for me to say is have a fantastic Christmas, and I'll see you in the new year. Cheers everyone.